Here is Raheem Morris, who was also pressed yesterday on who made the decision and how he went about breaking the news to the locker room.
We discuss it with everybody, and obviously our owner's always going to be involved in what we do in more of a supportive role more than anything. And he is extremely supportive and has been, since I've been here.
Who does have the final decision, Raheem, when it comes to deciding who gets to play?
Allison, when you start talking like that, you might as well just walk out of the building and hand over your head coach's hat and your general manager's hat, because these things got to be made together. There's a collaborative ideas, a collaborative effort at all times, and that really doesn't matter in this building.
When and how did you let the team know?
Realistically, in this day and age, Allison, unfortunately, you put statements out, and that's how your team knows, and that's how they find out, because, before I even get a chance to see him in a team meeting, I think that stuff would be out. You guys, I'm sure, was all over that last night while we were studying and doing what we need to do for the Giants, but that's just a big part of what we are now.
I mean, that's practical, unless he's going to do a group text with everybody on the team on it, which may not have been a bad idea to do that instead of a statement, because it seems a little more cold when it's announced to the world. At least give your players a 5-minute heads up before you announce it. I hadn't thought about that, but surely he's got on his phone. I mean, sure, you've got a text chain with everybody who's currently on the roster, and as players come and go, somebody on Raheem Morris' staff presumably is taking guys
I've never heard of that.
On.
They'll say
they should do it.
I know.
I mean, doesn't that make sense? They should do that. That'd be a great way to communicate with your players. A constantly updated list of everybody currently on the roster.
It's so updated this time of age and everything with the social media. I don't think. And then with these type of scenarios too, right? This is not going to be surprising to the guys. There's already within this. There's been talk in that building that this could happen. There's enough there, right? And then I think position coaches reach out. The receiver coach reaches out. Hey, hey, did you hear? Raheem's making the switch. They're going to Michael Penix Jr. That's usually kind of how it filters out that way. But I hear you. I mean,
they did a good job. They did a good job of keeping it out of the media.
They did.
However long it percolated,
right?
They got to announce it to the world on their terms. Oh, wait a minute. There may have been the perfunctory leak to NFL media, which is owned and operated in part by the Atlanta Falcons. But if it was there, it was like by a matter of minutes, like less than 5 minutes. Usually I say there's no real journalism in this space because people are reporting things 5 minutes before they're announced anyway. This might have been literally 2 minutes before it came out.
Yeah, I don't even know how all that went down. I don't. But again, I don't think that's a shock to the team. The team, he got to address them yesterday morning and talk about that. I guarantee most of the guys got done with that game on Monday night. We're going, I wonder if they'll do something here. What's going to go on here? All of that. I mean, they realize guys are smart. You start to get a feel for what coaches are thinking. Things start to get said in the building a little often about, we're disappointed with his play. You start to hear, wow, look at Penix out there at practice, more, filtering throughout the building, that type of talk. And the other thing too, Mike, with like where they are, Kirk Cousins, if they do get in the playoffs, I mean, really, look at the Atlanta schedule. Look at the teams they've beaten. The teams that they've beaten and he had success on were really the lower class of football. The bad defenses. The Buccaneers are one of the worst pass defenses in football, and they had injuries at that time and all that. They got to play the Cowboys when they were not at full strength. The Carolina Panthers are another victory. The Saints are another victory. The Raiders have a pretty good defense, what we've talked about. That was Strugglesville. If Aiden O'Connell plays, I'm with you. I think the Raiders probably win that football game. So why not make the change too is what I'm saying here. If you get in the playoffs, they're probably looking at it going, wait, with playoff defenses and the way we've seen Kirk Cousins play against those type of teams, I'm not sure if I really trust him other than maybe against Tampa Bay. That's the only one he's really thrived on. And Michael Penix can bring a new element to the offense that could be a little more scary for defenses to defend.
And this is where PR becomes very important for the Atlanta Falcons. A lot of time PR professionals just sit around and wait for fires and then figure out how they're going to put them out. There's an affirmative aspect to the job that also needs to be taken into account, and that is, hey, we're making a change here. There's a chance this isn't going to work. We need to start shaping this narrative of we don't need fully formed, best of his abilities Michael Penix. We just need somebody better than what we've had. If Michael Penix's touchdown to interception ratio is better than 1-9, then we're doing okay. We just need better. We couldn't allow it anymore. It wasn't sustainable. We had to give him a try, and we know he's not going to be MVP level right out of the gates, but we just had to do it. That's the value of PR. And Raheem had some PR spin in this whole how the decision was made. It's a collaborative effort. It always is. Folks, there's still always somebody whose personality takes over. There's somebody who's the alpha. When you're talking about a group of high-achieving individuals, somebody is breaking the tie. Somebody is setting the narrative that gets everyone to come along, like David Tepper. Hey, everybody wanted Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud. Everybody in the building, it was unanimous. It was unanimous because they're like, do you like your job? I like my job. How about you? You know, I got a mortgage. I got a car. Yeah, I want to keep working here. Good idea, boss. Bryce Young. So I don't know what kind of a vibe they got from Arthur Blank or anyone else in the organization or how this all just came to be, but the chances it was just this spontaneous collaborative effort, there's always somebody who is the first one to raise the question. It just doesn't just pop out of the ground. Somebody says, we got to do something about this. And it might have been weeks ago that it all got started, but somebody initiated it.
Well, that's my knowledge or my history of the sport and all that is this is not something that just comes about in 24 hours or goes, the game's over and they start to have discussions. These discussions have been going on, I'm going to guess, for the last 10 to 12 days, where it started to going, man, you know, look at this play. Gosh, guys, the practice, it's all that. I mean, hey, somebody's going to throw it out there to think like, hey, do we make a switch? And then that starts to spark a conversation. And so then it's not done in a just a matter of like snapping your thumb and seems like, oh, wow, we're not really talking this out and hashing out all the details. This is usually in the scenarios I've seen this in is something that kind of percolates over time. And there is a lot of discussion about it. And then it becomes like to a moment where, okay, wait, he played like crap. We've been talking about this. Do we think this is the time now? And then, yeah, somebody's going to speak up and say that part of it. And then somebody's going to speak up and go, I think it is. I think it's time to do it. And, you know, I don't know who that is there. I do think it's a pretty cohesive group there between Fontenot and Raheem Morris, certainly that. I believe him that way. But, yeah, I think it's something that happens, you know, throughout the course of time over the last few weeks.
And let me throw one little extra factor onto it because I think this is where you can draw parallels from other businesses and football. They probably entered Monday night's game against the Raiders with the mindset of, we'll give him one more chance.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's give him one more chance. He
right.
probably didn't know it, but let's give him one more chance. We're giving him one more chance. And, whoo, we got the win. We were playing anybody else that night, we wouldn't have won. If Aiden O'Connell would have played, we wouldn't have won. Thank God they got the guy that we thought was going to turn into a franchise quarterback out there playing in Desmond Ridder. If they didn't have him, we probably would have lost. Sorry, Desmond, didn't mean to throw a stray your way. But I feel like that was it. Last chance. And then it's like, we know we got to do what we got to do. And I don't know, is there any irony in the fact that Raheem called Kirk Cousins on the day that he notoriously refuses to work to tell him, you don't have to work on Sunday either?
You're funny.
I mean, I didn't think of that until just now. But, you know. Sorry, Kirk, I hope you're not at Barnes & Noble. I got to talk to you.
Maybe he was working.
Right.
It was a Monday night game. Maybe he had to go into the facility. Maybe he did. Maybe he wasn't there
that's
that
true.
day.
Well, that's true.
Right.
Because he made it clear, whether he really means this or not, the way he said it. He did make it clear in the quarterback series on a normal Sunday to Sunday schedule, he doesn't work on Tuesdays. This isn't a normal week because they're compressed. They played Monday night across the country. So it's a lot to do to get ready for Sunday. But for him, he doesn't have anything to do other than be ready to play. And that's the other side of it, too. We don't know what's going to happen. Michael Penix could twist an ankle on the first snap, and Kirk Cousins could be back under center. He is the number 2. He hasn't been exiled to number 3. He's not going to be released like Daniel Jones. He's still the backup because the only other alternative on the entire roster, and he's not on the active roster yet, he's on the practice squad, is Nathan Peterman. So, yeah, it's Penix, and then it's Cousins. Cousins is a whisker away from playing in the game on Sunday, which would actually make the game a hell of a lot more compelling if Cousins ended up getting a chance to play, although we hope that's not what happens because that would mean Michael Penix has gotten injured or was just so bad. They're like, get him out of there. Get him out. We got to get him off the field. He just can't play. That would be the worst outcome for the Falcons. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.